think we go back to basics, huh? On ETH BTC and just see what, start over a little bit. I feel like deleting everything, to be honest with you, but I hate deleting stuff because sometimes I like to go back and see what I've done. You've got a point of control here. Let me, have I got my volume range here? It's not an idea. Let's get rid of those. That's interesting. Price action. Yeah, this is interesting. Huh? Look. This could be the start of a wave 3 on ETH BTC. Look at that. Let's see. The original move in ETH BT was quite intense, wasn't it? It was all the way from there. It was like a 6,000% increase in value. And then from the highs, it dropped about 85%. And from the lows here, it went up about 400%. Could this be the next wave, or could this just be, again, I see this quite often. I see this a lot. We don't know, actually. We don't know what this is going to be like. Is this going to be a wave 3, 4, 5 like that to complete a 3 for a 4 for a big 5 like that? I don't know. It doesn't really look right to me, this whole structure. I am wondering actually if yeah, let me zoom out a little bit. I'm pretty sure that's the first impulsive wave there. Pretty sure. Let's go to the monthly time frame. Have a look at the higher time frame candles. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's clearly a wave 1 there. Right, that red one finishes there. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got this ABC down here. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? This isn't impulsive, even though it was the last bull market. It's not really impulsive price action. Just looking at the candles. So it could be a 1, 2, 3, or this whole thing could be an ABC. ABC. This is what I'm thinking, actually. I'm thinking slightly different. There. Let's get rid of that, actually. Is that possible? And then you have your actual... That would throw everyone off, wouldn't it? If you have a initial wave 1 here for this kind of A, B, C corrective move like that. To start, your big wave 3 will start there. That'll be a big one. Be like a super cycle wave 3 in 29, based on these timings, 29. And so right now, I think maybe this is, to me, this looks more likely, because I just don't think this is impulsive movement. not compared to the original wave one. Look, looks really impulsive. It's green candles. You're not getting that here, even though it moved a lot in USD terms. In BTC terms, it didn't move. There wasn't a real big move, was there? And so just based on this theory, my new theory, my developing theory, let me take this EW up. So, you know, I develop my theories. So what we're looking at is this kind of shape, potentially, which is a bearish harmonic. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. What do we have that? What does that look like to you? Are they? What does that look like? I can show you now. I'm just searching for it now. It's not a crab. It's a butterfly. See that? It's a bearish butterfly. Possibly a bearish butterfly. But you have the D point has to take the X for that to be a valid shape. See that? If you don't take it, if D doesn't take it, then it could be more like that, which is a Gartley. It's a bearish Gartley. And then it'd be more like that. It'd be more symmetrical here. So you're kind of in between a Gartley and a crab, basically. Sorry, a Gartley and a butterfly. It depends on this X point here. Do you start it there or there? So there's a variation here. That's a Gartley. That's a bearish Gartley. Quite a heavy, like a high B. Should be less really. And so therefore I'm probably thinking to myself, maybe it's more like a, it could be any one of these, to be honest with you. It could be a bearish bat. It could be a bearish Gartley. Or if you take this point here, then it's a butterfly, because you just take that liquidity there. So this is definitely looking bearish at this point here. This is the run, isn't it? Let me hide that image now. This helps us, doesn't it? It helps us. Why? Because now we can time it a little bit. With fib time, depending on which pivots we take. Let me line up the pivots first. Okay, and there's two pivots to be had. It's that one and that one, and they both could play a part. So I can have a look at XLM. I might have a little bit of time. Sure. If you'll hang around, I will. I'll have a look at XLM after this. So let's work out the timings. Nothing interesting. Let's see his. There, that's the most interesting one. A 1-to-1 is July, and a 1 to 6.18 is September. It's too far, huh? It's too far. because you need to hit that high in September 26. Is that possible? Based on those pivots, huh? It's hard to imagine, huh? It's hard to imagine for the bull run to continue until September 26th. Let's take this pivot here. That's interesting because the 1-to-1 on that hit the peak there, just from this pivot here. From this pivot, that was the 1-to-1, 1-to-1. See that? I do like that. 618, 1-to-2, 1-to-2.618. That's the 1-to-3. Again, it's back at September 26. And this is October 25. October 25. Okay, so I have a different idea now. Because it's quite far in the timings. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. ABC. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this it really matters. It really depends on this, really, because you could end up with something like this, something more like that. For a bigger drop. And actually, I think this probably makes more sense, to be honest with you. It's a hard one to stomach. Let's try that. Let's try this one. It's slightly different, slightly more bearish. No. Mm. So the big resistance point is exactly where I've marked it here. Do you see that? The back test of the 236, because you've got this clean SR flip going on here, and it's the value area high. And whatever happens, it's also the golden pocket. Yeah, we've got really strong resistance there, to be honest with you. So I don't really know what's going to happen with ETH BTC, but what I do know is that's really strong resistance. It's mega strong. You've got a lot of things happening in the same place. Yeah. And if the price starts to pump and it hits that area, it's going to hit some big resistance. It really is. Yeah. There's no avoiding that. And then you could fall back, and it could be quite violent depending on how aggressively we go up. Depending on how aggressively we go up. If we consolidate and go up, it'd be a lot easier to hold on the way back down. But the way at the moment the price is going on ETH BTC, it's going quite strongly up, and the volume is quite low. So that's a really strong resistance point, and this might catch people unawares if we're forming something more like this, more like a higher time frame of that first impulsive 5 wave, a higher time frame corrective WXY like this. Yeah, and actually this doesn't have to go all the way down there. It could just come down to take the lows here. But the idea is correct. It would be like you'd be looking like an ABC, and then this whole thing would be like a muted ABC, a big A, higher low B, lower high C. Yeah, that's what I'd be thinking, like the higher low, lower high, and then right back down to take the lows, and then that's when you get your accumulation of a lifetime there. That would be your accumulation of a lifetime for the big move, which would be up there, which would be to take us to the wave 3. And then once you hit the wave 3, then this will never come back down below this point, which is the way Elliott waves look, rules work. Okay, so once you clear that with a wave 3, then you're not coming back down. Okay, and so just looking at the way this is playing out, speculation, it's all speculative. I'm just thinking that was your wave 1. You've got the corrective here, you've got the corrective there. Could this whole thing be one big ABC, middle ABC? And then I don't know here, because the other thing that I'm looking at here is some kind of trend line. I don't exactly know where it's going to hit. Look, it could be like that. Some wicks that go through. It could be, who knows, like, which would also be the right place, the right place. And when would that be? Shit, it's again the timings give me September 26th, so I don't like that. It's too far in the future, isn't it? It's definitely possible to go up and then drop like that and just be there for a few months before it drops. It's definitely possible. So you get this kind of, you go up and you go up, and then it's just there before you drop. It looks really bullish, but actually you get a failed auction instead. And but the other thing is you could also get that and then go up and break. That's the other thing. And then you are looking at more of this kind of harmonic. It's still bearish, but it's bearish to the ups. You go higher, you're going higher. And probably actually if you are consolidating for a few months here, it's more likely that you break up because you're consolidating underneath resistance. This is more likely to reject rather than do that. So just based on the timings, I don't know. I mean, I think maybe just looking at this, if we do manage to go up again now next month, bam, to the value area high there. Let's forget about Elliott waves for a second, because that's quite speculative, and I'll get rid of these timings as well because they're not helpful. We know we've got the point of control here, which looks like we're about to break and clear on this month. It's really stronger. It's a really strong month candle. And then if we do get another strong month up, pushing into the golden pocket there, that'll be strong, heavy resistance there for sure. Golden pocket, value area high. There's 236 on the higher time frame. Yeah, I don't know. It's quite high up. Back down to go up again. I don't know. Can't tell. I really can't tell. It's not really what I wanted to see for the mega alt season that I was interested in. I was more interested in the original idea that I had, which was a replication of here, of this price action here, where the price kind of rallied up, was here for a little bit, and it came down into the golden pocket. That was your alt season. That was your mega alt season entry there, the golden pocket retrace. And that's kind of what I was thinking here. We haven't had the pullback yet. We haven't come back into the golden pocket yet on any of these. And actually you want to come back to the golden pocket of the highest point. So in this scenario, that pulls us all the way back down to take this low. That would be your entry. That's where your, in this context, that's where your alt season begins. It would be the same as that. So it depends. We have to see what happens next. It's very hard to know exactly what happens next, but I am possibly thinking that we only go as far as here. That's like your target. And I don't know when. I feel like we should go up quite fast just because we dropped quite fast. I do feel that that's more likely. Just to come all the way up. Bam, 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 bam. There. And then start to fall back down like that. I think that's, for me, that makes a lot of sense. So it's obviously very different to what I was thinking. And then the problem is, if that starts to happen, then it starts to look like a real crazy bearish head and shoulders pattern, doesn't it? Bam, bam, bam. So you're not going to get people interested. Take out the lows, and then you're looking to go down to lower prices here. Looks really bearish then, and then that's your accumulation area in the future. If you get that kind of price action, do we get a crazy alt season? That's the question. I don't know. I really don't know. I think we are in a little bit of a kind of alt season 1 now. Maybe we do get an alt season 2 when ETH BTC kind of goes sideways a little bit. You get a rotation of capital. Maybe ETH just doesn't really pump crazy. It just pumps past its all-time high as BTC moves up, and then this goes up, and then ETH manages to pip the all-time high. We have to see what happens. Okay, at the moment we've just cleanly cleared this point of control, haven't we? It hasn't given us any real resistance. On the weekly time frame was a clean break. Like, look at this. So on the monthly we're going to have a clean break. I'm kind of tempted to think that we're probably going to go up more, probably here, without any meaningful back test or pullback. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. It's just rallies until we get higher to higher resistance levels. That's kind of where I'm at. So maybe we are, this needs to go up further. Possibly it does, you know. And then we have to see what happens up there. And then maybe this is, the whole thing is just looking more like bounce, lower highs, bounce, lower highs, bounce, and then crash. That's the kind of the accumulation moment of the ages. And that will be in some kind of 29, 28, 29 period. And then you could actually end up with a long accumulation here, not necessarily a short one, before we zip back up into the range, and then the whole thing changes because you've invalidated a breakdown, and you might end up with this kind of scenario. You might end up with, you know, like a higher time frame falling wedge type scenario, and then yeah, it's, let's see what happens. So things are changing, huh? Like everything's changing right now. BTC looks strong, and what we want to see is the total market cap grow. Let's have a look at this one. This is total market cap minus BTC and ETH. This is the one we need. We need a little breakout moment, and I've got some higher targets. And actually, you know, I've been talking about this a lot. I mean, honestly, I'm targeting this 618 up here. This is kind of really my highest. This, if we can get this to go up to there, then I'll be really content with where this ends. And so this does actually look a little bit like an inverse head and shoulders type situation here. Get a little breakout and head up there. That would be nice for a little kind of alt season minus BTC and ETH situation. This is minus BTC, and again, I'd like to see how this lands. There'd be a lot of value going into this crypto market cap. It'd be a lot easier for this total 3 to go up than the total 2, and then total 1 I'm not sure about, because yeah, it could potentially rise as well, but we don't know how high. I mean, ideally you want it to go as high as possible, but we're talking about a large amount of liquidity coming into the market. This last total 3 cap month, look at that. This is the current one. Look at the volume on that. That's crazy volume. That's probably the most volume we've had on total 3 ever, and BTC is at all-time highs. See that? So there's a lot of capital coming into the crypto market right now, and BTC is at all-time high. So that definitely means something. You know, that's, you can't ignore that. That's a big deal, right? Let me have a look.